Hey guys, it's Torqen here. As a Camille player, it's no surprise that she really starts to shine in the mid to late game. That's where your macro and itemization decisions matter most. They can make or break your ability to carry. In the game I've got for you today, I won lane, but what really let me take over was how I played the mid game, the rotations, the item choices, and even how I played my team fights. And everything came together to close it out. I'm against Jace, a skill matchup, but one I'm pretty used to playing, and I'm able to navigate pretty easily. I come out of the lane ahead with some jungle help, but it's what I do from there that really forces the win and pushes Jace pretty much entirely out of the game. So without further ado, let's get started. I'll quickly run through the beginning of the game as it's not the main focus of this video, but I thought that there were some things in here that you guys might find interesting and might help some of you guys in some of your games as well. So going into this matchup, I see that my Kindred is starting topside, and she has already decided that she wants to come top. For that reason, I'm not looking to push the wave, even though Jace came into lane late. I'm just looking to hold the wave in the middle as long as I can, so that when Kindred gets here, it can be an easy gank for her. You see the results of our choice very quickly, as Kindred comes in for the gank, and it's an easy kill, even with Jace's flash. We then see Jace make a huge mistake here. Whenever you die to a jungle gank early in the game, if you're TPing back to lane, it should never be to the minions. And specifically because of this, you will get reganked, and if you die, that loses you your lane entirely. I get one more gank from Kindred to close out the lane and really seal the deal. And after this point, Jace himself even calls for them to open, having essentially given up. From here, I use my lead to get a couple kills around the map. I get one on Zed here, as he tries to escape to his tower. I get another here on Jace. I'm pretty sure he wasn't paying attention. And finally, I get one here when we're fighting over Dragon and Rek'Sai tries to steal inside the pit. That was a huge shutdown and really put me ahead of most of my teammates and even most of the other people in the game. So we come to our first real major play and decision in this game. Atakan is up right now, and that's what my team is looking for. Normally, I'd be topside, looking to split push on the opposite side from the objective, but because Azir is currently there, I'm here around my team, just looking to do whatever we can, maybe steal it or just hang around and farm. Azir starts his CP, I guess he's looking to go in, but it seems they've already taken Atakan, so I don't really understand why he ended up TPing here. At this point, I've completed my Triforce and my Tiamat, and I'm looking to complete it and turn into a Ravenous Hydra. So I'm looking for that extra gold. So we managed to clean up the fight, and I used that opportunity to clear this wave and continue pushing the tower. Azir was really pushing for this fight, and I didn't think it was a necessary one as I already had enough gold for my item. But now that I have extra gold, it gives me several options when going back to base. So going back to base here, I have 2200 gold. Earlier, I had bought a call fields so that I could pivot if I really needed to. And here you can see that I choose to use that call fields to build it into a death stance instead of finishing Ravenous Hydra. The reason I do this is because the Sivir and the Zed on the enemy team are very fed right now. As you can see, Zed just killed my Kindred. And so it's very important for me to be able to go in and survive long enough for me to come back out of the fight without dying. Death stance is really vital here as they're almost completely AD except for their support. And having it over Ravenous Hydra means that I can actually start skirmishing, taking 2v2s, 3v3s, and even full-on 5v5s without fearing for my life. Here as well, you also see me get a kill on Zed, a good shutdown. And I was just aware that I could do this because as I was leaving base, I had intended to go bot lane, but I looked into my jungle and I saw my Kindred actually fighting Zed. This gave me an inkling that while it may not work out, there is a good chance that if I head towards that side, I might be able to get something out of it. And you can see that it paid off. Of course, this isn't always the case. League isn't a game in which you should be focused on outcomes. You should be focused on how you're making your decisions and why you're making them. And as long as you're thinking through your decisions before you make them, you will almost always come out ahead. So at this point, I've now completed 3 of my items. I've gotten my Ravenous Hydra after delaying it for the Death Stance. And while I'm very strong, I can carry my team in team fights. I also have that priority in side lanes above Jace and Zed, and so I should look to utilize that as much as possible. And this is something that's very important, as pretty much any top laner, any duelist top laner, is to side lane consistently, because it's both how you CS and also how you put pressure on the map. And it's not just side laning to split push, right? Many people get caught up in side laning into towers, but you can also side lane to collapse. As you see here, I took the waves in bot lane and now I'm moving towards mid, where I can see that a fight is about to break out. So I immediately jump on the Sivir and I get her. And then you can see just how good Death Stance is here, right? Even with all the damage they're putting out, I'm still able to survive. I'm able to stay there for a bit. Even though I don't get the heal from killing someone, the Death Stance just helps me stay alive for so much longer. And just like that, we have a free Baron, all because I wasn't stuck in the side lane thinking that I have to be pushing too much. You saw that Jace was TPing late, and the reason was because he felt he had to push the wave all the way to the tower before he starts rotating to his team. I rotated earlier and was able to help my team on time, and this is something you have to be noting. It's not that I couldn't push the wave into bot lane tower, it's just that I saw that the fight was happening in mid very quickly, and I immediately got there to take care of it. We have Baron now, and so we're looking to really push our lead and end this game quickly. If we can use this Baron to the greatest advantage, maybe get a kill or two, then we can probably manage to end this game. However, while we're looking for picks in mid lane, I notice that Zed is out of position, and so I quickly go to see if I can pick him off, knowing that with Death Stance, I'm much stronger than him. I hold my E here so that he doesn't have a way to escape, because if I attempted to E quickly, like immediately EE, then I would have probably E'd into his tower or E'd away, and then he would just R out. But because I held my E, I was able to stun him immediately after he comes out of his R and make sure I get that kill. We're now at my next major item decision. I realize I don't have any tenacity, and they have a good Morgana who has been landing her roots rather consistently on me. So I decide that Sterak's Gauge is the next best item. It gives me a bit more survivability when I go into team fights, and it also gives me increased tenacity so that I'm not rooted by Morgana for extended periods of time when the enemy team can be pummeling me and potentially end my life. So here we have this dragon that we're attempting to get. The enemy team is on Soul, and so we don't want to force too hard. You can see that we're currently waiting for our teammates to get there, and that's typically what you want to do. I see many people that try to force objectives just because they're a bit scared the enemy team will do it. But if the enemy team isn't in any good position to take it, then you have time and you can afford to play a bit of the waiting game, waiting them out. And Death Stance continues to pay out. As you can see, I escape with very little health, and it's all thanks to the healing from Death Stance and the ability to just delay some of the damage. Something I love to do later in the game, I mean we're coming on 32 minutes now, is just shadowing my team. Keeping myself just out of vision, but in such a position where if anybody engages on any of my teammates, I'm able to very quickly follow up and help them out. This works very well late game because most of the time the extra gold you get from farming doesn't help you much. At this point I'm only one item off of full build, and so I'm really looking to help my team more in team fights than help myself. While it is great to be able to get kills by myself and get solo kills and pick people off, it's much more important to be there for my team at this point in the game, where every death is very, very important. We'll just act like that never happened. Okay, so now we're coming up onto the final parts of the game. We're 42 minutes in, I'm full build. I switched out my GA for Randuin's because it was used earlier, and the Randuin's is just an extra armor item to help against crits. So right now, this is where target selection really becomes important. I have to decide whether I want to go for Sivir or Zed. I decided at this point that Sivir is the most important because of her massive damage output. And so you see that even when I do find Zed on accident, I still only go for the Sivir because she's the main target of my Camille. And this is what you have to decide many times later in the game. It can be easy to tunnel on whoever's in front of you or whoever's easiest to kill. But sometimes you just have to take one for your team and go for the target that is most dangerous to you and them. Now, luckily for me, I didn't manage to die, but even if I had died going for that Sivir, she would have died as well, and my team probably would have still won this fight easily. And finally with this, we are able to simply push the towers and look to end the game. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned a lot about itemization and macro on Camille. And hopefully if you guys can apply these concepts consistently in your games, you can come out with great results and great LP gains. Peace.